So during 2005 to 2008, our husbands trafficked $2 billion to Mexico. And we would see these houses full of money.
$5 million cash was secretly stashed in 2009 and 10 alone in their house, in the floorboards, according to the court records, citing a federal drug enforcement report.
Apart from the violence, if the cartels around the world have one thing in common, it's the influx of millions of dollars. When half the world is buried in debt, these cartels have found smooth ways of earning easy black money through various illegal dealings or extortions, and live the life of kings. But where do they keep all this money? Banks typically do not want to register their accounts, as they don't wish to keep any associations with the cartels. So where do cartel heads like El Chapo and narco lord Pablo Escobar hide their stashes of millions? Let's find out from two cartel wives who decided to spill the beans after their husband's arrest. The Flores twins, Margarito and Pedro Flores, were considered the biggest traffickers in Chicago and bought tons of illegal substances from El Chapo. They might have even been his biggest customer and helped him significantly to grow his empire by smuggling narcotics inland. The brothers ran a $2 billion narco ring and worked very closely with El Chapo until one day they decided to turn against him and exposed him to law enforcement.
Ravi, the Flores brothers are Chicago's most notorious twins, raking in millions as El Chapo's emissaries here before they flipped on the boss and took him down.
So how did they do the unthinkable? Pedro and Margarito took the risk and secretly recorded their conversation with El Chapo. They turned in the recordings, along with valuable information about the cartel lord's operations, which helped U.S. law enforcement file a strong case against him. Deciding to help the U.S. government didn't quite give them a free pass and a slap on the wrist as punishment. They paid their dues for their criminal record. The Flores brothers were sentenced to 14 years in jail in 2015. As the Flores brothers did their time in prison, their wives came forward to speak openly about the amount of money their husbands made and how it was safely hidden in their house. Investigations brought out the wives' involvement in hiding the money and illegally using it when they were supposed to return it, and law enforcement decided to press charges.
Their joint account amounted to cash deposited under the floorboards of a house, more than $5 million in cash that their wives are now accused of pilfering.
In a public interview in 2015, wives to the Flores brothers, Mia and Olivia Flores, made a rare appearance and spoke about the vast fortune that their husbands had gathered through their illegal smuggling and trafficking. A faceless interview was recorded, keeping their privacy in mind. The brave women didn't shy away from giving us the real numbers and mentioned how normal it was for them to see money stashed in almost every corner of the house.
We would have, a room full of money, $1 to $2 million sitting in the room, for us to grab at our expense, and that was usual.
Not only that, the brothers supposedly employed people who worked in shifts just to count the money. They had counting machines in their home that could count $1 million in a couple of hours. That's the kind of money that they had. But did fortune come with benefits for these women? Did the wives of these cartel henchmen have a good life? Were they able to enjoy the money their husbands earned? Or did they always have to remain in fear of getting caught and stay indoors, guarding their husband's income and watching them exchange hands? Interestingly, the wives to the Flores brothers admitted that they enjoyed their life to the fullest. Apart from drowning them in money, the Flores brothers let the women live the life they desired.
We were spoiled. We ate well. We traveled. We would sometimes want to stay on vacation for a month on the beach and just live life to its fullest.
This sure sounds like the life out of someone's dream. If you think that only the Sinaloa cartel lords or their henchmen had wads of cash lying around in their bedrooms, you'll be surprised to know that the list runs longer. Notorious narco lord Pablo Escobar had billions of dollars that he stashed away in his house at one point of his reign. In the mid-'80s, he had become one of the best substance smugglers and was earning hard cash very fast. He bought multiple houses in Colombia and Mexico with that money, but still had billions to spare. His estimated worth at that time was $25 billion, making the income an actual headache. So how did he hide the dough? He started with the place where most black money goes, the Swiss bank. After putting a portion of it in his bank accounts, he started storing it in containers inside his house because the accounts had all reached their limits. He shrink-wrapped his money and stashed it in plastic barrels and metal boxes.
The discovery of another safe is the latest chapter in the story of a home that once belonged to Pablo Escobar. Construction crews found it Monday after knocking down one of the remaining walls of the waterfront mansion.
But when all available space became occupied, it pushed him to find more creative ways to use his property to stash the excess money. He started using the foundation and structure of his house to hide it all. He would drill holes in the walls and floors and stuff them with cash. A portion of the hidden money would later be found by Escobar's nephew. Nicolas Escobar drilled a hole in one of the walls in Escobar's apartment in Medellin and uncovered a whopping $18 million. Alongside that fortune, the nephew found some other hidden valuables. Apart from the trash bag full of money, Nicolas found a gold pen, satellite phones, a typewriter, and a film roll that was still undeveloped, all safely nestled behind the wall in the secret cove. But how did he know where to find the money? Nicolas claims that he got a vivid vision of where to find it, but many refuse to believe his claims. It's a well-known fact that he worked for his uncle and knew where Pablo hid his money. It was all too easy for him to come back and look exactly where the dough had been stashed, and voila. Authorities say that whatever portion of Pablo Escobar's money that have been found so far, 10 times that amount, is still out there, somewhere, waiting to be found. You might be asking, why do authorities go for the wives instead of chasing someone in a more important position within the cartel? What could these wives possibly know about their husband's business? But there's a logical strategy behind this. Law enforcement agencies often target the cartel wives or women associated with the cartel for intelligence. Even if they're not directly connected with the cartel dealings, they can sometimes provide valuable information as they're always around the cartel lords. They can also direct law enforcement agencies to hidden stashes of money, as they have knowledge of everything stored in the house. But now you must be asking, why do the wives do it? Why would they risk their husband's life and reputation and sell them out like this? What do they gain from it? There are various reasons behind this. In some cases, these women cooperate with law enforcement to seek protection and to get away from the criminal lifestyle, or to avoid legal consequences themselves when their husbands get caught. The Flores wives acknowledged that the money bought them a fulfilling life that one can only imagine, and they were appropriately spoiled, but only for a short period. They eventually wanted peace and stability, and wanted to build a normal family.
But at the end of the day, we wanted to denounce that life, and we knew what mattered to us was love and family and simplicity.
When cartel wives decide to disclose valuable information about hidden money, they help law enforcement agencies to seize it and any assets they might have bought with it. But ratting out the cartel lords comes with a disadvantage. The whole cartel might come after the whistleblower, and their lives turn uncertain and risky. After the Flores brothers testified against El Chapo, their wives expressed their fear as they were convinced that El Chapo would find them and make them pay for the betrayal.
Once the U.S. government had what they needed, we knew our life was going to change. We knew that we were going to have to hide for the rest of our lives, and that is like the worst imaginable feeling you can ever have.
Mia and Olivia have both been charged with money laundering and are trying hard to avoid prison. Their husbands have completed their prison time, but now it might be their turn to get in the slammer.
Now, as Pedro and Margarito Flores have reportedly ended their prison time, Mia and Olivia are fighting to make sure they don't go to prison, as both wives face money laundering charges here at the federal courthouse in Chicago.
Mia Flores has claimed that she has obtained an immunity deal with the U.S. government, but a prosecutor announced that it's not true and might be a futile attempt on her end to save herself from prison. He further added that a judge will decide whether to press charges against her. Mia also claimed that she had given the government details about her husband's narcotics business, along with an account of how much money he made. She also gave $4 million to an unnamed criminal attorney, who then safely handed over the money to the government.
Flores says that in 2010, she told the government all about their family drug dealing business, yielding so much cash they needed a moving van to haul it when Pedro Flores began cooperating.
But Mia claims this as significant proof of being granted an immunity deal and pleaded with law enforcement not to press charges.
The Flores wives say it is among the proof they were given immunity years ago and shouldn't be prosecuted now.
However, in 2023, the court found her guilty of spending a huge portion of the money held under her floorboards for various needs and recreational activities. The money was supposed to go back to the government, and Flores spent it illegally.
Mia Flores begging for mercy from a federal judge today, asking for no prison time, even after admitting that she illegally spent a small fortune in drug money made by her husband Pedro, who turned on his boss.
While they should have stayed low-key and in hiding, Mia and Olivia Flores branded themselves as wives of the cartel and attended interviews on TV. They also wrote books about their husbands and the secret lives of the cartel members. This earned them the publicity that they desired. They also became greedy and spent around $869,000 on vacation, luxury, and a cleaning business. This definitely ruined their impression before the court.
None of that helped. Putting herself out there, making the most essentially of her fame as a cartel wife, that can only hurt at a sentencing before a federal judge. It almost certainly hurt here too.
The attempt to get cheap fame and lavish expenditure didn't go unnoticed by the authorities. And as a result, Mia Flores has been sentenced to 3.5 years.
The government asking that Ms. Flores receive at least a 9-year sentence, while she requested probation and strict home confinement.
Olivia Flores is awaiting her trial, also set to take place in 2023. It appears that even after spilling dirty narco secrets, the cartel wives got themselves into trouble because of their reckless life choices. Even though their husbands have completed their prison time, it's uncertain when they'll be able to get back to their normal life. Both the wives have sworn that the Flores brothers have changed, left their unlawful lives in the past, and are now working with the DEA towards creating a better future. This can surely buy them some moments of stability and happiness, but they're still under the risk of being attacked by other cartel members for their betrayal. Unfortunately, the Flores brothers and their families will have to live the rest of their lives with this fear. What's the best story you've heard about a cartel lord's wife? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video to show your support. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell to get notified of future uploads. See you soon with the next exciting story.